Hi everyone, my name is Shomokwe Afe and welcome to today's episode of the Growth Network. And in the upcoming series, we'll be talking about relationships and then abuses in relationships. And I'm sure that this series, on the episodes in this series, will be helpful to you and will contribute to wisdom in every area of life. On this episode of the series, I have with me a very beautiful woman, a wonderful and phenomenal person who will be helping us discuss and trash out issues that concern relationships and abuses in relationships. And I would like you to meet her. Please, can you introduce yourself to us, ma?
I'm Mrs. Ojumu. Allow me.
It's nice to meet you, ma.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. All right. So this week, like we said, we'll be discussing our relationships, and we know what has been happening in town. Hearing a lot of stories on social media. This week, somebody is dead. Next week, somebody's marriage is broken. The other week, people are in trouble. We hear the case of children being raped by their parents, friends being raped, abuses, different kind of abuses, assaults, and whatever they likes. So it has brought to our notice. And then the high rate of divorce, especially in the body of Christ, there's a high rate of divorce. People are just treating marriage, you know, anyhow. It is no longer as sacred as it used to be. And it would have been funny if it was just for, flimsy excuses. But it is no longer flimsy because life is involved. People are getting beaten to death. People are getting destroyed, emotionally broken down. So it has made us feel or decide to talk about this issue. And first of all, I mean, you will not get abused in a marriage if there was no relationship. So we'll be talking about relationship. Ma, what does relationship mean to you? What is the essence of a relationship? Why are there relationships? I mean, the different type of relationships. Why are there relationships? Why are there friendships and all that? What is the essence and purpose of a
Well, the
relationship?
essence of relationship, because relationships are imperative for so many different reasons, such as increasing our emotional well-being, creating stability, learning to learn from other people, like people you can actually vent to when you face challenges in life. Relationship depends on your own mindset. What exactly you want from that other person. It's not the fact that, okay, everybody's in relationship, you want to go into relationship. You should know the reason, the essence of why you want to have that relationship. Because to me, I feel the fact that I want to go into a relationship with someone, whether girl or boy, I must be able to get what exactly I want from that particular person. So I think the essence of relationship, one, is for us to grow. Is for us to learn. And also our emotional well-being. We learn from different people. We pick whether the good or the bad part from people. So I think relationship is very, very important.
All right, thank you very much, Ma. So you have mentioned it. Relationships can be platonic, and it is about emotional
Well,
well-being. So what about romantic relationships? Or let me ask you this question: Are you married, Ma?
you're married.
Okay, that's beautiful. Before you got married, what were the things that you looked out for, that you considered that welcome, sir? But things that check, is this person, can I have anything to do with this person? What are those things, ma?
Okay, for me, I used to tell people, I used to be a tomboy person. I wasn't a girly person type anyway. So I wasn't actually like getting ready for any relationship in a romantic level. I want a relationship whereby I can probably learn good things from you. And if there are some things I don't really know, are you that kind of friend I can actually walk up to and like, okay, let me
Tomato.
discuss this with you? Are you this kind of friend that probably my own motive is different from your own motive? Your own might be the sexual part. No. And that one might not be coming from me. So what I actually look in a relationship, but that will actually lead to marry is one, a man that is hardworking. Two, a man that has the fear of God, and then someone that can actually, we can sit down together and reason how we're going to achieve our goal. What is your vision? Is your own vision going to kill my own vision? Is my own vision going to kill your own vision? So I feel that these days people mix it up. They just want to go into relationship because of the fact, Sister Lagbaja is married. I want to be married. Okay, Sister Lagbaja has boyfriend. And at times, those are where the destruction starts from. And what I look in a relationship, I don't want a man that is a liability. You must be freaking hardworking. because I'm here, I'm there. The same thing applies to you.
Yeah.
Like Yoruba will say, it's the 10 fingers that can wash
The
the hands
hands.
clean, you know. So those are the things I think is very, very important. Let's now remove the financial part out of it. If both parties can work together, it takes teamwork, it takes trust, it takes as in closeness, intimacy. Like, are you really seeing what I'm saying? Do I really like to go to church? Do you really like to go to church? Somebody like me, I'm coming from a Muslim background.
Wow.
I got married to a Christian, but the way I took the religion self, you think I was born and brought up in Christianity. So me, I see the religion part of it. Where I was coming from, I was like our own Muslim. We are top notch. We pray 5 times a day. We do the needful.
Wow.
So I've seen religion as part and parcel of me, which some people doesn't even look at these days. What they want to see is my husband is, my guy is fine. He's handsome. He has money.
TBH.
He's using iPhone. He's using this. He's using that. So at the end of the day, they find themselves in a mess. So I think for me, those are the things I look out for in a
In a
relationship.
relationship. That is beautiful. She has mentioned a lot of things to look out for. Communication, religion. That goes under compatibility. Hardworking. Being able to support each other in your life's vision or life's purpose. So those are the things to look out for. Not well, TDH is something to look out for too, but it's not in the list of important things. The scale of preference, it should run
Yeah,
slow. Don't choose based on that. So now that we've established the things to look out for in a relationship, we will then move on to abuses in relationships. I heard a story of a girl, a secondary school girl. She's already done with secondary school, but she was reminiscing about her secondary school days, and she was, having maybe guilty conscience, and she was talking about how when she was in secondary school, she accused somebody wrongly, and what happened was that she was in a classroom. Just a group of guys were gisting, and maybe she just wanted to know what they were talking about. So she went to hide behind the door. So in hiding behind the door, one of the guys, we don't know whether he spotted her or not, but he went to rest on the door, and almost suffocated her on the door. You know how secondary school children can be playful. But she now, after that, she said she was suffocating, almost losing her breath before he now released her from the door. So she now went to report, and then before she went to report, her friends and then some of the guys that the boy was playing with were now telling her that she's lucky, that he almost raped her, that he wanted to rape her, and so that was the accusation she took to the authority, to the school authority. She told them that the guy raped her, or was about to rape her. And so the guy was suspended and was beaten on the assembly, the shame and the embarrassment. And she said that the guy did not come back to her school again. But
wow,
now she's done with secondary school and she's feeling guilty. Now she knows what rape is, and she feels like she has accused him wrongly.
wrongly.
So I want you to just shed more light on the different types of abuses that we have, because I'm sure if she had known, she would
She
have just
wouldn't
said,
have.
"Okay, this is what happened to me." Oh. The guy would probably would have gotten punished, but there's this kind of shame
Not
that
on that
comes, yeah,
gravity.
it's on that ground. So, what are the types of abuse that you're aware of, and what do they mean, so that people can identify where they
Okay.
stand?
The first one I'm going to talk about here now, the physical abuse. Physical abuse can be, that's just a situation whereby your partner can always come like eating you, yelling at you, So because physical means what you can say physically.
Yeah.
So it could be physical abuse, just it includes yelling at you, nagging, trying to embarrass you in public. There's no way he cannot slap you.
Oh,
That's the physical abuse. The other one I'm going to talk about now is the emotional. In fact, me, I tag it as emotional trauma. It's also as a very is even the worst abuse, because when you're traumatized
nobody can see
emotionally,
it. At least with the physical, they can give you, you
that is the
dying, and you
thing.
can get
The
healed.
emotional kills faster than the physical abuse, because when you're emotionally traumatized, you can commit suicide.
Yeah.
You're depressed. So when you're emotionally traumatized, you already know that depression is very close to you. Suicide is close to you because you die, the emotional level is dying inside of you. And at times you might not be able to voice out to people that this is exactly what I'm going through, all in the name of my husband, I'm married. So the emotional trauma is when a man keeps or a woman keeps doing something to you over and over again that actually hurts you deep down to your heart. And you can't be like, what exactly do you want to do about it? You have nothing to do about
Nothing.
it. But you are dying inside of it because you can't go and tell a man that, will you stop telling him that rubbish? You can't face your husband and talk to him anyhow like that. If he's a man that does
Like
this drug,
physically
whatever.
abusive,
Immediately it hits you.
slap,
And
yeah.
once it hits you, you don't know what can happen to you at that moment. You might give up.
Even if you want to tell somebody that you are being emotionally abused, what, like, how will you describe it to them?
You
At
can,
least with
is it,
physical wounds, they can see that your
that
face
is
is
the thing.
swollen.
Then your body will start shrinking when you're emotionally traumatized because you will start seeing that person. You might go like, let's go and eat out now. You see them, they just use the fork or the spoon to just pick the food. And, I'm very much okay. When they come for
They
parties,
lose
they don't try
appetite.
to dance in the midst of everybody. They always try to be very lonely. Like, I just want to be on my own. In fact, it was these days I tried to get involved in many people that I know that before they used to be very lively. All of a sudden,
They are now
the
laid
step back. I was like,
back,
what's actually wrong
reserved.
with you? He said, the life is now beyond. Somebody should just be over
Oh,
happy, over happy. I said, no.
wow.
I said, definitely something is wrong with
Going
you.
wrong.
So the emotional trauma to me is the worst abuse because you can't even express yourself to people. Imagine you're being emotional traumatized in your home. How can you be emotionally traumatized in your home? When you and your husband have issues, the next thing the husband does is to come outside and embarrass his wife in front of, as in not just one person, a lot of people in the public. And you now think the next morning you want to still pass that same route. There's no how that thing will not be doing in your heart, like,
Yeah.
I was embarrassed here. What will these people say? Another thing about emotional trauma is when husband and wife have issues, and the next thing the husband will be like, I'm going to deny you from sex.
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
going to touch you again for months. Because I have one recently. In fact, the man died the day before, I think 3 days ago.
Wow.
Him and the wife had issues, so they are both emotionally traumatized. Men has their own ego, and the woman too was not ready to like succumb to him. How can couples live in the same house and you say you don't want to talk to your wife? Because I feel that definitely they had already missed it from the beginning of that
Beginning.
relationship.
Yeah.
So they said the man now drove out, as it was not last week. He sha drove himself to death.
Wow.
So
So
he had
suicide.
an accident, yeah.
Okay.
So I think his feet, yeah, maybe cut off or maybe he had injury and he was bleeding. So nobody saw that he was in that bush
Okay.
until the
An
next
accident.
morning. That was when these Amotekun people now had to go. There's somebody inside this bush now. When they
Yeah.
brought him out, he had already died. Then the other one I really want to talk about is sexual abuse. Yeah, that's where the rape comes in from. Yeah, when you try to have sex intercourse with somebody that is not even willing to have it with you, you actually force that person to have it. So it's a big abuse for me. And it's a trauma that you can't forget about it. Even husband and wife they can abuse themselves sexually.
Sexual.
Yes. There are some husbands that will tell you, you can't tell me you are tired. You can't tell me you are this. You can't tell me you are that. I was not like, how can your husband tell you that you can't be tired? I really want to have sex with you. And you now see that kind of man trying to bully the woman, eating the woman that I've paid your bride price. So I
Physical
must,
abuse. Everything
with
happens
physical, with
to.
sexual, everything is already joined together in that kind of situation. Domestic violence, where you see husband and wife eating themselves. Boyfriend and girlfriend self, now they have domestic
Now it's
violence now.
even
Beat
rampant.
themselves. Like somebody was telling me that in Akumba, once the boyfriend beat up the babe, after beating her seriously with serious bruise, he'll now go and buy a new phone.
Nonsense.
And at the end of the day, that kind of girl will
Nonsense.
still enter
Stay
that
there.
kind of a relationship.
So that
Are
brings
we
me to the
making
next
sense?
question, ma. Why do people stay in abusive relationships? Let's use the example of the late minister, God bless her soul,
Osinachi.
Osinachi. We heard that this has been going on for a long time,
Over.
and nobody heard about it until she died. I mean, it was after her death that people started coming out to say this was what was happening. So how or why? The question is, why do people stay in abusive relationships? Can you please
Okay.
answer that, ma?
The first thing I'm going to talk about is fear of being alone and fear of criticism in the society and fear of what people will say about them.
Three
But I
things.
let them know that at the end of the day, if you die, they will bury you. The same people that is going to criticize you will come and bury you. So fear of like, I'm a minister in the church. I'm a pastor in the church. I'm a chorister in the church. What will the community say about me? But why don't we try to look at, if my life is gone today, are these people going to come and like fight my battles for me? Are they going to stand in and be like, no, there must be justice for this person? This Osinachi issue we're talking about, you will see that at a point in time now, this issue it will go off.
It's almost
And
going off.
nothing is going to be done to that man. So I think, I don't want to use the word that some women are so crazy and foolish. Because as a Christian child, as a Christian daughter that your parent has sent you to school, you are in a relationship where a guy tears your clothes off because you're having issue. where a guy fling things at you in public, where a guy takes the property, probably the gift he had bought for you, and smash it, and you still say I love him.
Because imagine the story you're telling us about the students in Akumba where the girl is
Yes,
getting
the boy will
abused.
beat the girl up
So
after beating her, serious bruise, cut, and he will still come and go
for
and buy
someone like
new
that, I mean,
iPhone.
we don't live in her, so we don't even know why. But why do you think that she's staying in that abusive relationship?
That Akuba, what I would say is the money aspect. Let's just be sincere with ourselves. Is the financial aspect. And like I said earlier, if you're going into any relationship, don't let that financial aspect be your target. Then you yourself, you'll not be able to achieve your own aim in life. You have 10 fingers now.
Work,
So you should
work,
have the you
baby.
should have it at the back of your mind. I'm a separate person in this relationship. If I tell some young teenagers in my office that if you're entering a marriage, see yourself like the husband and the wife. I'm not trying to say they should be disrespectful. I'm not trying to say they should see themselves like, okay,
But
I'm
you
not
be
going to be submissive to
responsible.
me. Yes, you should be able to do some things all by yourself. Don't wait for the man to be the one to do this, to do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't be, your
Yeah.
husband should not pamper you. But these days, the issue that is in marriage home now, and most of the wives that the men beat up, they're the one that has nothing doing. They are liability in the home. So once the man go out and comes back, that lagbaja, we need money for Maggie, we need money for this. But go and try it out. When a woman is very, very much responsible, you're not a liability. There are some decisions your husband wants to make. If you're not there, you can't make the decision. So the same thing applies in your relationship of boyfriend and girlfriend. What is your motive for that relationship? What are you looking for in that relationship? I know in Akure now it's iPhone. If it's not iPhone, it's bone straight hair. If
Okay.
it's not bone straight
So
hair, they want
Accra
to wear latest
girls.
Adidas, latest sneakers. It's
Okay.
happening everywhere, all over the world. But for the past 2, 3 years, I've been here frequently.
Yeah.
That is what I've
That's
seen so far.
so
I've
bone
met
straight.
a girl that she was supposed to get married, and she said no. She has like 3, 4 boyfriends, so she's still looking at the one that the account balance is very
It's the
high
highest.
before she would get married. And the one she was talking about, I tried to do some findings. This guy smoked marijuana. He does. Is a drunkard. He plays bets.
Wow.
Please, ma, what wants to come out of that relationship? But somebody was telling her the guy was always pretending to her that the guy can use like 20 perfume. So you won't even sniff it that he
This
does that.
is
And the ones that are ready to settle down with her, they don't really have much.
mm,
But you can see that our own motive in that relationship
is
is
wrong.
different.
So whatever I sees,
She
she
should face it.
collects. Though there's no excuse for abuse of any kind. There's no excuse
You
for
don't
it.
have to stay there. You don't
But
have to.
there are some things that she mentioned that we have to work on as individuals. There's no excuse for abuse. And then you mentioned something about and it is very important. I support that women should rise up. We have 10 fingers for a reason
You
to
work for
work.
yourself.
But don't you think that there are some people who are also going through financial abuse, where the husbands take all their money? She's the one working, or she's the
It
one
happened
making
to
the
Osinachi
money.
now. She don't even have access to accounts.
Exactly. So okay, well, we're done for today's episode. But I also like a last word from you. What is your last word to people who are watching this, who are
Okay.
about to enter into relationships or are already in abusive relationships? What do you think? Just a word or two that you think they should look out for. Word of advice.
Okay. My advice so far is if you're going into any relationship, the first thing you have to even look out for is, does the man or the woman has the fear of God in him or her? And does the man submit to any authority? Like, can this person talk to this person and listen? Because I've met some people that will tell nobody can talk to them. Even your pastor cannot tell me what I will do. So
Wow.
if you're married to that kind of a person, it's just one, the person will just take knife and just stab you. So any relationship you are
Wow.
going into, does this person has the fear of God in him? Does his vision support your own vision? Don't look at the financial part of it at all first. That should be the last thing. Check if you're on the same page. Does it really tally? Is it correlating together? As in what I want, even if that is not what you want, can we
Can it
always work
work?
together?
Yeah.
Does this person has listening here? Does this person listen to people's advice? Or does it feel that he knows it all? So when you marry somebody that knows it all, you have a problem already. No.
You're in
So
trouble.
please, what I'm going to say that every one of us we should be very, very careful before we get ourselves into any relationship. Don't let that iPhone 7, iPhone 13, bone straight air. Don't let it blindfold us because it is future that we're talking about. Not now. Many homes have crashed. Many children are on the streets, all because their mother and their father made that mistake. So we that we are still young, that we are just growing, I think we should work on ourselves. That is the thing that is very, very much important for us.
And I
Welcome.
hope that you have been able to take one or two things from what she has said. You know, she said money should not be the first on your list. TDH should not be what you consider looking for somebody to take care of you. I want to be taken care of. Well, it's good to want to be taken care of, but work, baby, work. So we have come to the end of today's episode, and I hope you were blessed. Please look out for us next week. God bless you. Amen.